Junichi freaking Masuda. He got away with it again. His tweets were a hint all along, and if we read them with what we know now, it all makes sense. The day when the signs of spring begin to rise. That's right, it's a wonderful day. It's been a while since I came to Game Freak today. Now, when you're reading that without any context, without anything that we know from Pokemon Direct, maybe he was working from home, COVID was doing a thing, I don't know, maybe he had a holiday going on. No, he just wasn't at Game Freak because he was working on the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Because that's developed by Ilka. And the Pokemon Legends, that's the Game Freak studio. But this is where things get weird. And we also have a lot of other things to break down. So we need to talk about Junichi Masuda being a director again, even though he said he was thinking about stepping down. Also, the Diamond and Pearl prophecy came true. That was the hint from Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is also something we've investigated in other games and shenanigans going down. So we get to go into that. But it goes even deeper because it wasn't just the one tweet in the middle, it was also the first tweet, and if you really thought about it, it all comes together. So this was the comment that tipped me off. I don't know how often you view comments on old videos. The thing is, YouTube's kind of weird. Actually, let me show you YouTube real quick. Oh, that's actually kind of perfect. So just so you know, I can look at all the comments as they come in across all my videos, and you can even see some old videos that are getting comments. Like, that's a really old one, the Guardian Guide, but since they get long-term views because people are looking them up, they can still comment, and I see them all as they come in chronological order. So that's just like a little heads up as to, you know, if you had any questions about YouTube for YouTubers, that might be one of the things that kind of shows you what's going on. But let's get back to that. So yeah, I read comments, I read them all. Made a comment on one of your old videos yesterday about Masuda's tweets. I'm pretty sure now, based on what we know, that Masuda, rather than hinting at the games themselves, was actually hinting about the fact he was working with a different studio. Even the first picture was from the Ilka office, or I think the first picture was from the Ilka office, while the second one was at the Game Freak office. And when you think about it like that, once again, it makes sense, and it's as I predicted in the videos talking about Masuda's tweets, because this means nothing. We could guess at this for hours about what's being implied here. Maybe that's supposed to look like Munchlax. Maybe Junichi Masuda gave it away because he retweeted the person. Is that like the... he retweeted this. Was that what was on Junichi Masuda's mind, or was it just something completely unrelated? Same thing into the next tweet, but for some reason now he was magically at Game Freak. But if you break it down, I went out for the first time in a long time at work. But this tweet happened on January 28th, before he returned to Game Freak. So he was like finishing up the Diamond and Pearl remakes, or at least what his job required him to do there, and now it's time to bounce back on over to Game Freak to get ready for the Pokemon Presents announcement. Like, yeah, how did he return to work before he left work, or how did he leave work before he returned to work? So you look at that, and then it starts to come together, and that's what he was going at. So it doesn't necessarily say anything about the games. It's not as blunt as what he did with Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Sun and Moon. I think this is the same kind of cryptic level as Pokemon Sun and Moon, because taking a picture of the moon while the sun is out in broad daylight doesn't mean anything until you know the information and go back on it, and then it all makes sense. This is where it all makes sense. Junichi Masuda was telling us he's not working on the Game Freak project, he's working on something else. And that's, again, where I think it kind of gets crazy, because he said he might step down from directing Pokemon games soon after Pokemon Let's Go. So he directed Pokemon Let's Go, and now he's co-directing this remaster in 3D that feels very reminiscent of a Pokemon Let's Go game for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So, for example, developing the Pokeball Plus and working with Bluetooth to facilitate the connection between Pokemon Go were both very interesting things that I had a chance to work on as the director this time. But at the same time, it's important to have the younger generation at Game Freak take over the development of Pokemon as a series. I do believe this will probably be, in terms of main Pokemon RPGs, the last time I work as director. Now, it seems like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are definitely main series RPGs, but this gives us so much insight as to what could be going on with the development process of Pokemon Legends. That Pokemon Legends, that's where the new, younger, up-and-coming staff is working at Game Freak. That's where the fresh ideas are coming in, and that can be interpreted in many ways. I think we have to go back through all the interviews in the last 5 years, to be honest, because there was that shift happening around Pokemon Sun and Moon, but the shift even goes back to Pokemon Black and White. And I think that could also explain the ever-growing rift that we see with the modern Pokemon community. So I think that's worth its own video, but kind of like something to give foresight on, foreshadowing as to what could be covered here. So yeah, like Junichi Masuda, he's stepped down, but not really, but he was able to get away with it because it's not the Game Freak game, and he's kind of sticking to what he wants to portray the Pokemon series as, which works with these remake games that are the ones that he tends to be directing. And then you can also look at Omori directing the the new generation Pokemon games, like the new stuff. So Junichi Masuda is kind of holding the old guard of Pokemon when it comes to the remakes or the refreshes or whatever you end up calling Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And he's kind of holding those things down while also still giving the fans what they want. People wanted to see some kind of revisit to an older Pokemon game, and they don't like Game Freak's 3D style, so they want to see it in a 2D style. This is effectively just kind of modernizing the 2D style. Like the art, this is trying to capture the exact same feel, whether you agree with the art style or not. So I think that makes a lot of sense in its own, and once again, it all comes together. It goes back to the tweets, so while you can't 100% predict this off of that, same thing like the only thing that Junichi Masuda's Sun and Moon tweet tells us is that there's a new main series Pokemon game. What this tells us is the direction that's going on between Game Freak, other Pokemon development, and kind of the weirdness you could have expected out of the Pokemon Presents if you could have predicted it and stuff like that. And then, now we get to this, just kind of like padding out the other crazy Generation 4 things that are going on. So, Krogunk, wooden figurine in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I mean, there's a lot of ties to a lot of generations because that's just kind of how Pokemon Sword and Shield worked. However, this is direct tie-in. Wood carving of the Pokemon Krogunk, and it looks nearly identical. I feel like, once again, they were maybe trying to find a way to seed in some kind of hint for the upcoming Diamond and Pearl remakes. And when it came to Diamond and Pearl remakes, they were effectively inevitable at some point. It was the 90% chance that it was going to happen for Pokemon 25th Anniversary, Pokemon 2021 game, whatever you want to say. So, it wasn't... I don't think there was as much pressure or as much... I don't even know, like, there just wasn't as much on the table when it came to predicting Diamond and Pearl remakes, but we have our tie-in. We have our weird thing that comes together, similar to what we saw with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, predicting Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then also the prediction, or the things inside of Pokemon X and Y that kind of suggested that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was in development as well. So when you look at something like this, I feel like there's more at stake here when trying to figure out what's going on or what's being hinted by Game Freak, because are we going to get the next generation? Are we going to have something else weird happening? What's going to be the direction of the newer generation for Pokemon? And as we can see, it's going to be new Pokemon, it's going to be older Pokemon getting new designs with the forms, because Game Freak is referencing their trip to Hawaii to get reference material for Pokemon Sun and Moon as their vacation to the island region of Hoenn as they're staying in a hotel in Lily Cove City. And then they got this poster, which pretty much directly goes into Alolan Exeggutor, which is also true to some of the very, very, very old lore to the original Red and Blue days, the green version days of this Pokemon and all that other fun stuff coming in. So going back to the source material, the original games, Game Freak, they knew it. It was happening. It was bubbling up. If you saw this, if there was a lot of emphasis put on, they dropped this to see if people would find it before or after. If you were really bullish about Diamond Pearl remakes, this probably gives you an extra like 10% confirmation that, that's what's on Game Freak's mind. Something that directly correlates. So there we go, guys. It all came together, and now we can explain a good amount as to what's going on behind the scenes and how that came together, and now what we're dealing with for Pokemon games. So, guys, enjoy this update. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.